Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome back to the live studios at Wisteria College. Some people are calling it a cottage. Some people are calling it a college because they're learning so much by coming in here and reading the Srimad-Bhagavatam. Anyway, we got the Folkestone crowd here, and all the way from Latvia and from Wales and from London and from Houston, and we're all here together, the United Nations of the spiritual world, under the banner of the Srimad-Bhagavatam. Welcome all of you in cyberspace. And before we start, we're going to start. Srimad-Bhagavatam Mahima Stotram, the glories of Srimad-Bhagavatam, which we are already tasting very nicely. But this is just to put a little cherry on top of the pie. Sanatana Goswami's glorification of Srimad-Bhagavatam. And it goes like this. Sarva Shastrabdi Piyusha Sarva Vedaika Satpala Sarva Siddhanta Ratnaja Sarva Lokaika Drikprada. O nectar from the ocean of all scriptures, singular fruit of all the Vedas, rich mine of the precious gems of all conclusive truths, you are the only giver of sight to all the worlds. Sarva Bhagavata Prana Srimad Bhagavata Prabhu Kali Dvandudita Ditya Sri Krishna Parivartita. O life air of all the Supreme Lord's devotees. O Master, Srimad Bhagavatam. You are the sun risen in the darkness of Kali. You are the exact image of Sri Krishna. Paramananda Pataya Prema Varshakshadayate Sarvada Savasevyaya Sri Krishnaya Namostume. I bow down to you, who were supremely blissful to read. Your every syllable pours down a flood of prema. You can always be served by everyone. You are Sri Krishna himself. Madeka Bando Matsangin Madguro Man Mahadana Man Nishtaraga Mad Bhagya Mad Ananda Namostute. My only friend, my constant companion, my spiritual master, my great wealth, my savior, my good fortune, my source of ecstasy, I bow down to you. Asadu sadutat dayin atini chochata kada hanamunchagadachin mam premna rit kantayospura. O bestower of saintliness to the unsaintly, O exalter of the most fallen, no excuses. But I'm the most fallen, no excuses. O exalter of the most fallen, please never leave me. Always appear in my heart and my voice with pure love. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we've reached a very profound place in the Srimad Bhagavatam. In the beginning, practically, second canto, there are 12 cantos. And Krishna is explaining to Lord Brahma in 4 verses the whole Srimad Bhagavatam. 18,000 verses in 4 verses. So what I'm going to do is, yesterday we read the first 3 of the 4 verses with the purports. Tonight I'm going to read the first 3 without the purports, and then I'm going to read the 4th one with the purport. Can we have a show of hands? Anybody disagree? Okay, it's unanimous. So I didn't give enough time for people to think straight and raise their hand. But anyway, I'm not trying to manipulate anybody here. I'm just doing my job here. I'm just doing my duty. Okay. Text 33. Aham evasamevagre nanyad yat sarasat param paschad aham yaretach yo vashishitisosmyaham. I'm traveling with a techie now. Everything's upgraded. Now notice the first word. What is the first word? No. Up. Go up. Go up. First word of the Sanskrit. Aham. Aham is a personal pronoun in Sanskrit language. What does it mean? I. Aham evasamevagre means that the absolute truth is a person. Translation. Brahma, this is Krishna speaking to Brahma. Brahma, it is I, the personality of Godhead, who was existing before the creation, when there was nothing but myself. Nor was there the material nature, the cause of this creation. That which you see now is also I, the personality of Godhead. And after annihilation, what remains will also be I, the personality of Godhead. In other words, he was here before the creation. He expanded himself into the creation. He wound himself back up into himself, and only he remains after the creation. Therefore, he is our source. And therefore, we can be persons. And therefore, we can do all the things that we do in this world. Text 34. Riter tam yat pritiyeta na pritiyeta chatmani yad vidyad atmano mayam yata bhaso yata tamaha. O Brahma, whatever appears to be of any value, if it is without relation to me, has no reality. Know it as my illusory energy, that reflection which appears to be in darkness. So here Krishna is enlightening us that the material world is just a reflection of him. It's his energy, but it's a reflection of him. And we made the example in the purport, and we talked about it a little bit yesterday in the reflections, that if the sun is shining somewhere, and this room was dark, and then it reflected off of a mirror or off of a glass window or something, and reflected a little beam of light in here, it wouldn't light up the whole room. A little shaft of that light. This is what it means. The sun is in the room, but the sun is not completely in the room, and therefore we can't see properly. So anything that's a mere reflection of Krishna, which is the material energy, which we are within, is a dream. It's like a dream. It's a reflection. It's a mirage of reality. It's real, but it's a mirage. It's temporary. The reality is where Krishna is in the spiritual world. Text 35. Excuse me. No. We're just reading the verses. Then we're going to read the purport to 36, is where we are in the text. Nityata mahanti bhutani bhuteshu cha visheshvanu pravishtan apravishtani tatateshu nateshvaham. O Brahma, please know that the universal elements enter into the cosmos and at the same time do not enter into the cosmos. Similarly, I myself also exist within everything created, and at the same time I am outside of everything. So, just like in the woman's womb, the seed is placed, and when pregnancy takes place, the body of the living being is created from the ingredients within the woman's body. But those same ingredients are also outside of that body. So similarly, the universe is created from the elements created by Krishna, and those elements are in a stock outside the material world, and everything's created by it, but it's still, there's stock of it outside. And at the same time, Krishna, he's inside every atom, and he's inside each universe, creating everything and managing everything, but at the same time, he's outside of the whole cosmic creation at the same time. 36. Etavat eva jigyasyam tattva jigyasunatmanaha anvaya vidikekhyabhyam yat syat sarvata sarvada. A person who is searching after the Supreme Absolute Truth, the personality of Godhead, must certainly search for it up to this, in all circumstances, in all space and time, and both directly and indirectly. Purport. To unfold the mystery of Bhakti Yoga, as it is explained in the previous verse, is the ultimate stage of all inquiries, or the highest objective for the inquisitive. Everyone is searching after self-realization in different ways, by karma yoga, by jnana yoga, by dhyana yoga, by raja yoga, by bhakti yoga, etc. To engage in self-realization is the responsibility of every living entity developed in consciousness. One who is developed in consciousness certainly makes inquiries into the mystery of the self, of the cosmic situation, and of the problems of life, in all spheres and fields, social, political, economic, cultural, religious, moral, etc. And in their different branches. But here the goal of all such inquiries is explained. The Vedanta Sutra philosophy begins with this inquiry about life, and the Bhagavatam answers such inquiries up to this point, or the mystery of all inquiries. Lord Brahma wanted to be perfectly educated by the personality of Godhead. And here is the answer by the Lord, finished in 4 nutshell verses, from Ahameva to this verse, Etavad Eva. This is the end of all self-realization processes. Men do not know that the ultimate goal of life is Vishnu, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, due to being bewildered by the glaring reflection in the darkness. And as such, everyone is entering into the darkest region of material existence, driven by the uncontrolled senses. The whole material existence has sprung up because of sense gratification. Desires based principally on the sex desire, and the result is that in spite of all advancement of knowledge, the final goal of all the activities of the living entities is sense gratification. But here is the real goal of life. and everyone should know it by inquiries put before a bona fide spiritual master, expert in the science of Bhakti Yoga, or from a living personality of Bhagavatam life. Everyone is engaged in various kinds of scriptural inquiries, but the Srimad-Bhagavatam gives answers to all of the various students of self-realization. This ultimate objective of life is not to be searched out without great labor or perseverance. One who is imbued with such sincere inquiries must ask the bona fide spiritual master in the disciplic succession from Brahmaji, and that is the direction given here. Because the mystery was disclosed before Brahmaji by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the mystery of all such inquiries regarding self-realization must be put before such a spiritual master who is directly the representative of the Lord, acknowledged in that disciplic succession. Such a bona fide spiritual master is able to clear up the whole thing by evidence from the revealed scriptures, both direct and indirect. Although everyone is free to consult the revealed scriptures in this connection, one still requires the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master, and that is the direction in this verse. The bona fide spiritual master is the most confidential representative of the Lord, and one must receive direction from the spiritual master in the same spirit that Brahmaji received it from the personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. The bona fide spiritual master, in that bona fide chain of disciplic succession, never claims to be the Lord himself, although such a spiritual master is greater than the Lord in the sense that he can deliver the Lord by his personally realized experience. The Lord is not to be found simply by education or by a good fertile brain, but surely he can be found by the sincere student through the transparent medium of the bona fide spiritual master. The revealed scriptures give directions directly to this end, but because the bewildered living entities are blinded by the glaring reflection in the darkness, they are unable to find the truth of the revealed scriptures. For example, in the Bhagavad Gita, the whole direction is targeted toward the personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, but for want of a bona fide spiritual master in the line of Brahmaji or the direct hearer, Arjuna, there are different distortions of the revealed knowledge by many unauthorized persons who just want to satisfy their own whims. Undoubtedly, the Bhagavad Gita is accepted as one of the most brilliant stars in the horizon of the spiritual sky. Yet the interpretations of this great book of knowledge have so grossly been distorted that every student of the Bhagavad Gita is still in the same darkness of glaring material reflections. Such students are hardly enlightened by the Bhagavad Gita. In the Gita, practically the same instruction is imparted as in the 4 prime verses of the Bhagavatam. But due to wrong and fashionable interpretations by unauthorized persons, one cannot reach the ultimate conclusion. In the Bhagavad Gita 1861, it is clearly said, Ishvarat sarvabhutanam riddhisharjuna tishtati brahmayan sarvabhutani yantra rudhani mayaya. The Lord is situated in the hearts of all living beings as Paramatma, and He is controlling all of them in the material world under the agency of His external energy. Therefore, it is clearly mentioned that the Lord is the supreme controller and that the living entities are controlled by the Lord. In the same Bhagavad Gita, the Lord directs as follows: Man-mana bhavamad bhakto majjaji mam namaskuru mami vaishashti satyam te pratijane priyosti sime. It is clear from this verse of the Bhagavad Gita that the direction of the Lord is that one should be God-minded, a devotee of the Lord, a worshipper of the Lord, and must offer all obeisances unto Lord Krishna. By so doing, the devotee will undoubtedly go back to Godhead, back to home. Indirectly, it is said that the whole Vedic social construction of human society is so made that everyone acts as a part and parcel of the complete body of the Lord. The intelligent class of men, or the Brahmanas, are situated on the face of the Lord. The administrative class of men, the Kshatriyas, are situated on the arms of the Lord. The productive class of men, the Vaishyas, are situated on the belt of the Lord. And the laborer class of men, the Shudras, are situated on the legs of the Lord. Therefore, the complete social construction is the body of the Lord, and all the parts of the body, namely the Brahmanas, the Kshatriyas, the Vaishyas, and the Shudras, are meant to serve the Lord's whole body conjointly. Otherwise, the parts become unfit to be coordinated with the supreme consciousness of oneness. Universal consciousness is factually achieved by coordinated service of all concerned to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and that alone can ensure total perfection. Therefore, even the great scientists, the great philosophers, the great mental speculators, the great politicians, the great industrialists, the great social reformers, and so on, cannot give any relief to the restless society of the material world, because they do not know the secret of success, as mentioned in this verse of the Bhagavatam, namely, that one must know the mystery of Bhakti Yoga. In the Bhagavad Gita 7:15 also it is said, Namam dushkritino mudha prapadyante naradamaha mayaya paritagyana asuram bhavam ashritaha. Because the so-called great leaders of human society are ignorant of this great knowledge of Bhakti Yoga and are always engaged in ignoble acts of sense gratification. Bewildered by the external energy of the Lord, they are stubborn rebels against the supremacy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and they never agree to surrender unto Him because they are fools, miscreants, and the lowest type of human beings. Such faithless non-believers may be highly educated in the material sense of the term, but factually they are the greatest fools of the world, because by the influence of the external material energy, all their so-called acquisition of knowledge has been made null and void. Therefore, all advancement of knowledge in the present context of things is being misused by cats and dogs fighting with one another for sense gratification. And all acquisition of knowledge in science, philosophy, fine arts, nationalism, economic development, religion, and great activities are being spoiled by being used as dresses for dead men. There is no utility in the dresses used for covering a coffin of a dead body, save getting false applause from the innocent public, ignorant public. The Srimad-Bhagavatam therefore says again and again that without attainment of the status of Bhakti Yoga, all the activities of human society are to be considered absolute failures only. It is said, Para bhavas tavarabhota jato yavan najigyasita atma tattvam yavat kriyas tavadidam madovai karmatmakam yena sharira bandhaha. As long as one is blind to inquiring after self-realization, all material activities, however great they may be, are all different kinds of defeat, because the aim of human life is not fulfilled by such unwanted and profitless activities. The function of the human body is to attain freedom from material bondage. But as long as one is fully absorbed in material activities, his mind will be overwhelmed in the whirlpool of matter, and thus he will continue to be engaged in material bodies, life after life. Evam manak karma vasham prayunkte avidyayat man upadiyamane pritir nayavan mai vasudeve namuchite deha yogina tavat. If it is one's mind that generates different kinds of bodies for suffering, different kinds of material pangs. Therefore, as long as the mind is absorbed in fruitive activities, the mind is understood to be absorbed in nations, and thus one is sure to be subjected to material bondage in different bodies again and again, until one develops transcendental love for Godhead. Vasudeva, the Supreme Person. To become absorbed in the transcendental name, qualities, form, and activities of the Supreme Person, Vasudeva, means to change the temper of the mind from matter to absolute knowledge, which leads one to the path of absolute realization and thus frees one from the bondage of material contact and engagements in different material bodies. Srila Jiva Goswami Prabhupada therefore comments on the words Sarvatra Sarvada in the sense that the principles of Bhakti Yoga or devotional service to the Lord are apt in all circumstances. That is, Bhakti Yoga is recommended in all the revealed scriptures. It is performed by all authorities. It is important in all places. It is useful in all causes and effects, and so on. As far as all the revealed scriptures are concerned, he quotes from the Skanda Purana on the topics of Brahma and Narada as follows. Sansari smin mahagore janma mrityu samakule pujanam vasudevasya tarakam vadibi smritam. In the material world, which is full of darkness and dangers, combined with birth and death, and full of different anxieties, the only way to get out of the great entanglement is to accept loving transcendental devotional service to Lord Vasudeva. This is accepted by all classes of philosophers. Srila Jiva Goswami also quotes another common passage, which is found in three Puranas, namely the Padma Purana, Skanda Purana, and Linga Purana. It runs as follows. Alodya sarva shastrani vicharya chapunak punaha idam ekam sunishpanam jeyo narayanaksada. By scrutinizingly reviewing all the revealed scriptures and judging them again and again, it is now concluded that Lord Narayana is the supreme absolute truth, and thus he alone should be worshipped. The same truth is also indirectly described in the Garuda Purana as follows. Padam gato pivedanam sarvashastrartha vedyapi yona sarveshware bhaktas tam vidyat purushadamam. Even though one may have gone to the other side of all the Vedas, and even though one is well versed in all the revealed scriptures, if one is not a devotee of the Supreme Lord, he must be considered the lowest of mankind. Similarly, it is also stated in Srimad-Bhagavatam 5.18.12 indirectly as follows. Yas yasti bhaktir bhagavat yakinchana sarvaya gunais tatra samastate suraha harau abhaktasya karau abhaktasya kato mahadguna manovritena satidhavato bihi. One who has unflinching devotion to the Supreme Personality of Godhead must have all the good qualities of the demigods, and contrarily, one who is not a devotee of the Lord must be hovering in the darkness of mental speculation, and thus must be engaged in material impermanence. Srimad-Bhagavatam 11.18 says, Shabda Brahmani Nishnato Na Nishnayat Pare Yadi Shamas Tasya Shamapalo Yadinum Ivarakshataha. One may be well versed in all the transcendental literature of the Vedas, but if he fails to be acquainted with the Supreme, then it must be concluded that all of his education is like the burden of a beast, or like one's keeping a cow without milking capacity. Similarly, the liberty of discharging loving transcendental service to the Lord is invested in everyone, even the women, the Shudras, the forest tribes, or any other living beings born in sinful conditions. Te vai vidan jatiratan tichate vamayam Stri Shudra Huna Shabara Abhipapa Jivaha Yad Yad Bhuta Kramapadaya Shila Shikash Tir Yag Jana Apikim U Shutadharana Ye 2746. The lowest of human beings can be elevated to the highest stage of devotional life if they are trained by the bona fide spiritual master, well versed in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. If the lowest can be so elevated, then what to speak of the highest, who are well versed in the Vedic knowledge? The conclusion is that devotional service to the Lord is open for all, regardless of who they are. That is the confirmation of its application for all kinds of performance of the service. Therefore, the devotional service of the Lord, with perfect knowledge through the training of a bona fide spiritual master, is advised for everyone, even if one happens not to be a human being. This is confirmed in the Garuda Purana as follows: Kita Pakshi Mriganam Cha Harau Sanyasta Chetasam Urdvam Evagatim Manye Kim Punar Gyaninam Rinam. Even the worms, birds, and beasts are assured of elevation to the highest perfectional life if they are completely surrendered to the transcendental loving service of the Lord. So what to speak of the philosophers among the human beings? Therefore, there is no need to seek properly qualified candidates for discharging devotional service to the Lord. Let them be either well-behaved or ill-trained. Let them be either learned or fools. Let them be either grossly attached or in the renounced order of life. Let them be liberated souls or desirous of salvation. Let them be inexpert in the discharge of devotional service or expert in the same. All of them can be elevated to the supreme position by discharging devotional service under the proper guidance. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 9:32 as follows: Apichet suduracharo bhajate mam ananya bhak sadureva samantavyak samyak vyavasito hisaha mam hiparta vipashritya yepisyu papayoneya striyo vaishas tata shudras tepiyanti param gatim. Even if a person is fully addicted to all sorts of sinful acts, if he happens to be engaged in the loving transcendental service of the Lord under proper guidance, he is to be considered the most perfect holy man, without a doubt. And thus any person, whatsoever and whosoever he or she may be, even the fallen woman, the less intelligent laborer, or the dull mercantile man, or even a man lower than all these, can attain the highest perfection of life by going back home, back to Godhead, provided he or she takes shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord in all earnestness. This sincere earnestness is the only qualification that can lead one to the highest perfectional stage of life. And unless and until such real earnestness is aroused, there is a difference between cleanliness or uncleanliness, learning or non-learning, in the material estimation. Fire is always fire, and thus it is, if someone touches the fire, knowingly or unknowingly, the fire will act in its own way, without discrimination. The principle is, Harir Haritipu Papani Dushta Chittar Api Smritaha. The all-powerful Lord can purify the devotee of all sinful reactions, just as the sun can sterilize all sorts of infections by its powerful rays. Thus, attraction for material enjoyment cannot act upon a pure devotee of the Lord. There are hundreds and thousands of aphorisms in the revealed scriptures glorifying devotional service. Atma ramascha muniya. Even the self-realized souls are also attracted by the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Ketchit kevalaya bhaktya vasudeva parayanaha. Simply by hearing and chanting, one becomes a great devotee of Lord Vasudeva. May I repeat that? You don't? Would you like to hear that again? I would like to hear it again, so you'll just have to just tolerate. Simply by hearing and chanting, one becomes a great devotee of Lord Vasudeva. I rest my case. Nachalati Bhagavat Padartha Vindal Lava Nimishardam Apiyak Savaishnavargya. A person who does not move from the lotus feet of the Lord, even for a moment, is to be considered the greatest of all Vaishnavas. Bhagavat Parshadatam Prapte Mat Sevaya Pratitam Te. The pure devotees are convinced of attaining the association of the personality of Godhead, and thus they are always engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Therefore, in all continents, in all planets, in all universes, devotional service to the Lord, or Bhakti Yogi, is current. And that is the statement of the Srimad-Bhagavatam and all allied scriptures. Everywhere means in every part of the creation of the Lord. The Lord can be served by all the senses, or even simply by the mind. The South Indian Brahmana who served the Lord simply on the strength of his mind also factually realized the Lord. Success is guaranteed for a devotee who fully engages any one of his senses in the mode of devotional service. The Lord can be served by any ingredient, even the most common commodity, a flower, a leaf, a fruit, or a little water, which are available in any part of the universe and without cost. And thus the Lord is served universally by the universal entities. He can be served simply by hearing. He can be served simply by hearing. Again, he can be served simply by hearing. I'm going to make a loop and I'm going to just play this. You're driving in your car. He can be heard just by hearing. He can be heard. He can be served simply by hearing. He can be served simply by chanting or reading about his activities. He can be served simply by adoring him and accepting him. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is stated that one can serve the Lord by offering the result of one's own work. It does not matter what one does. Generally, men may say that whatever they are doing is inspired by God, but that is not all. One should actually work on behalf of God as a servant of God. The Lord says in the Bhagavad Gita 9:27, Yat karoshi, yadishnasi, yad jahosi didasi yat tapasyasi konteya, tat karusha madarpanam. Do whatever you like, or whatever may be easier for you to do. Eat whatever you may eat. Sacrifice whatever you can sacrifice. Give whatever you may give in charity. And do whatever you may do, and do whatever you may undertake in penance. But everything must be done for Him only. If you do business, or if you accept some employment, do so on behalf of the Lord. Whatever you may eat, you may offer the same to the Lord, and be assured that He will return the food after eating it Himself. Oh, Krishna. He is the complete whole, and therefore, whatever He may eat that is offered by the devotee is accepted because of the devotee's love. But again, it is returned as prasadam for the devotee so that he can be happy by eating. Are we getting some of this? Oh yeah, twice a day at least. In other words, be a servant of God and live peacefully in that consciousness, ultimately returning home back to Godhead. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. It is said in the Skanda Purana, Yasya smritya chanamokya tapo yagya kriyadishu nunam sampurnatam iti sajjo vande tamachutam. I offer my obeisances unto Him, the infallible, because simply by either remembering Him or vibrating His holy name, one can attain the perfection of all penances, sacrifices, or fruitive activities, and this process can be universally followed. It is enjoined, akama sarvakamo vai mokshakama udaradihi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. Though a person be full of desires or have no desires, he may follow this path of infallible bhakti yoga for complete perfection. One need not be anxious to propitiate each and every demigod and goddess, because the root of all of them is the personality of Godhead. As by pouring water on the root of a tree, one serves and enlivens all the branches and leaves, so by rendering service unto the Supreme Lord, one automatically serves every god and goddess without extraneous effort. The Lord is all-pervading, and therefore service unto Him is also all-pervading. This fact is corroborated in the Skanda Purana as follows. Archite devadeveshe shankachakra gadadare architak sarvadevak sur yatak sarvagato harihi. When the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, who carries in His hands a conch shell, wheel, club, and lotus flower, is worshipped, certainly all other demigods are worshipped automatically, because Hari, the personality of Godhead, is all-pervading. Therefore, in all cases, namely nominative, objective, causative, dative, ablative, possessive, and supportive, everyone is benefited by the transcendental loving service to the Lord. The man who worships the Lord Himself who is worshipped, the cause for which the Lord is worshipped, the source of supply, the place where such worship is done, etc. Everything is benefited by such an action. Even during the annihilation of the material world, the process of bhakti yoga can be applied. Kalina nashta pralaye vaniyam. The Lord is worshipped in devastation because He protects the Vedas from being annihilated. He is worshipped in every millennium or yuga. As it is said in Srimad-Bhagavatam, Krite yad jayato vishnum tritayam yajato makahi dvapare paricharyayam kalautad darikirtanat. In the Vishnu Purana it is written, Sahanis tan mahachchidram sa moha sacha vibramaha yan muhurtam chanam jabapi vasudevam chachintayat nachintayat. If even for a moment remembrance of Vasudeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is missed, that is the greatest loss. That is the greatest illusion. and that is the greatest anomaly. The Lord can be worshipped in all stages of life. For instance, even in the wombs of their mothers, Maharaj Prahlad and Maharaj Parikshit worshipped the Lord. Even in his very childhood, at the age of only 5 years, Dhruva Maharaj worshipped the Lord. Even in full youth, Maharaj Ambarisha worshipped the Lord. And even at the last stage of his frustration of old age, Maharaj Dhritarashtra worshipped the Lord. Ajamil worshipped the Lord even at the point of death, and Chitraketu worshipped the Lord even in heaven and in hell. In the Narasingha Purana, it is said that as the hellish inhabitants began to chant the holy name of the Lord, they began to be elevated from hell towards heaven. Durvasa Muni has also supported this view. Muchetiyan namyudeti narakopi. Simply by chanting the holy name of the Lord, the inhabitants of hell became released from their hellish persecution. So the conclusion of Srimad-Bhagavatam, as given by Shukadeva Goswami to Maharaj Parikshit, is etan nirvidyamananam ichatam akatobayam yoginam nipanirnitam harer namanukirtanam. O King, it is finally decided that everyone, namely those in the renounced order of life, the mystics, and the enjoyers of fruitive work, should chant the holy name of the Lord fearlessly to achieve the desired success in their pursuits. Similarly, as indicated indirectly in various places in revealed scriptures, 1. Even though one is well versed in all the Vedas and scriptures, if one is not a devotee of the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, he is considered to be the lowest of mankind. 2. In the Garuda Purana, Brihan Naradiya Purana, and Padma Purana, the same is repeated. What is the use of Vedic knowledge and penances for one who is devoid of devotional service to the Lord? 3. What is the comparison of thousands of Prajapatis to one devotee of the Lord? 4. Shukadeva Goswami said that neither the ascetic nor one who was greatly munificent, nor one who was famous, nor the great philosopher, nor the great occultist, nor anyone else can achieve the desired result without being engaged in the service of the Lord. 5. Even if a place is more glorious than heaven, if there is no glorification of the Lord of Vaikuntha or his pure devotee, it should be at once quitted. 6. The pure devotee refuses to accept all the 5 different types of liberation in order to be engaged in the service of the Lord. The final conclusion, therefore, is that the glories of the Lord must be always and everywhere proclaimed. One should hear about his glories, one should chant about his glories, and one should always remember his glories, because that is the highest perfectional stage of life. As far as fruitive work is concerned, it is limited to an enjoyable body. As far as yoga is concerned, it is limited to the acquirement of mystic power. And as far as empiric philosophy is concerned, it is limited to the attainment of transcendental knowledge. And as far as transcendental knowledge is concerned, it is limited to attainment of salvation. Even if they are adopted, there's every chance of discrepancies in discharging a particular type of functions. But adoption of the transcendental devotional service of the Lord has no limits, nor is there fear of falling down. The process automatically reaches the final stage by the grace of the Lord. in the preliminary stage of devotional service, there is an apparent requisite for knowledge. But in the higher stage, there is no necessity of such knowledge. The best and guaranteed path of progress is therefore engagement in bhakti yoga, pure devotional service. The cream of Srimad-Bhagavatam in the foregoing 4 shlokas is sometimes squeezed out by the impersonalists for different interpretations in their favor. But it should be carefully noted that the 4 shlokas were first spoken by the personality of Godhead himself, and thus the impersonalist has no scope for entering into them, because he has no conception of the personality of Godhead. Therefore, the impersonalist may squeeze out any interpretation from them, but such interpretations will never be accepted by those who are taught in the disciplic succession from Brahma, as will be cleared up in the following verses. Besides that, the Shruti confirms that the Supreme Truth, absolute personality of Godhead, never reveals himself to anyone who is falsely proud of his academic knowledge. The Shruti mantra clearly says, Nayam Atma Pravachanena Labhyo Namedaya Na Bahuna Shutena Yam Evaisha Vinute Tena Labhyas Tasyaisha Atma Rivinute. Tanum Swam. The whole matter is explained by the Lord himself, and one who has no approach to the Lord in his personal feature can rarely understand the purport of Srimad-Bhagavatam without being taught by the Bhagavatas in the disciplic succession. What a purport. So this section where Prabhupada was very clearly saying that it must be explained to you by a bona fide spiritual master. We just heard from the bona fide spiritual master, in depth, without there's no room to come out with any other conclusion from this purport. There's no room. Therefore, if we just repeat these, we become bona fide spiritual masters. Cheers. To all of you. It's true. It's true. I'm experiencing it myself. Just by reading these books every night, without fail, out loud, clearly, loudly, clearly, from the heart, with full faith, with no argument, everything happens. And in Houston, I got a witness and also an example here. This young, bright techie over here, who's like running around like crazy, thinking all kinds of things we can do to make it better. They just coming, just flowing in the door. 2, 3 every 2, 3 days, 2, 3 more, new ones, my friends, and I got to tell them about this. It's amazing. It's amazing. Takes 37. Etan matam samatishta paramena samadhina bhavan kalpa vikalpeshu na vimuyati karachit. O Brahma, just follow this conclusion by fixed concentration of mind, and no pride will disturb you, neither in the partial nor in the final devastation. Purport. As in the Bhagavad Gita 10th chapter, where the personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, has summarized the whole text in 4 verses, namely Am Sarvasya Prabhavo, etc. So the complete Srimad-Bhagavatam has also been summarized in 4 verses as Aham Evasamevagre, etc. Thus the secret purpose of the most important Bhagavad Gita conclusion has been explained by the original speaker of the Srimad-Bhagavatam, who was also the original speaker of the Bhagavad Gita, the personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna. There are many grammarians and non-devotee material wranglers who have tried to present false interpretations of these 4 verses of the Srimad-Bhagavatam, but the Lord himself advised Brahmaji not to be deviated from the fixed conclusion the Lord had taught him. The Lord was the teacher of the nucleus of Srimad-Bhagavatam in 4 verses, and Brahma was the receiver of the knowledge. Misinterpretation of the word aham by the word jugglery of the impersonalists should not disturb the minds of the strict followers of the Srimad-Bhagavatam. Srimad-Bhagavatam is the text of the personality of Godhead and his unalloyed devotees, who are also known as the Bhagavatas, and no outsider can have any access to this confidential literature of devotional service. But unfortunately, the impersonalist, who has no relation to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, sometimes tries to interpret Srimad-Bhagavatam by dint of his poor fund of knowledge in grammar and dry speculation. Therefore the Lord warns Brahma, and through Brahma, all future devotees of the Lord in the disciplic succession of Brahma, that one should never be misled by the conclusion of the so-called grammarians or by other men with a poor fund of knowledge, but must always fix the mind properly via the parampara system. No one should try to give a new interpretation by dint of mundane knowledge. The first step, therefore, in pursuance of the system of knowledge received by Brahma is to approach a bona fide guru who is a representative of the Lord following the parampara system. No one should try to squeeze out his own meaning by imperfect mundane knowledge. The guru or the bona fide spiritual master is competent to teach the disciple in the right path with reference to the context of all authentic Vedic literature. He does not attempt to juggle words to bewilder the student. The bona fide spiritual master, by his personal activities, teaches the disciple the principles of devotional service. Without personal service, one would go on speculating like the impersonalists and dry speculators life after life, and would be unable to reach the final conclusion. By following the instructions of the bona fide spiritual master in conjunction with the principles of revealed scriptures, the student will rise to the plane of complete knowledge, which will be exhibited by development of detachment from the world of sense gratification. The mundane wranglers are surprised that one can detach himself from the world of sense gratification, and thus any attempt to be fixed in God realization appears to them to be mysticism. This detachment from the sensory world is called Brahma Bhuta, stage of realization, the preliminary stage of transcendental devotional life, para bhakti. The Brahma Bhuta stage of life is also known as the Atma Rama stage, in which one is fully self-satisfied and does not hanker for the world of sense enjoyment. This stage of full satisfaction is the proper situation for understanding the transcendental knowledge of the personality of Godhead. The Srimad-Bhagavatam 1.2.20 affirms this. Evam prasanna manaso bhagavad bhakti yogataha bhagavat tattva vijnanam mukta sangasya jayate. Thus, in the completely satisfied stage of life, exhibited by full detachment from the world of sense enjoyment as a result of performing devotional service, one can understand the science of God in the liberated stage. In this stage of full satisfaction and detachment from the sensory world, one can know the mystery of the science of God with all its confidential intricacies, and not by grammar or academic speculation. Because Brahma qualified himself for such reception, the Lord was pleased to disclose the purpose of Srimad-Bhagavatam. This direct instruction by the Lord to any devotee who is detached from the world of sense gratification is possible, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita 10.10. Tesham satatayuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yenamam upayanti te. Unto the devotees who are constantly engaged in the Lord's transcendental loving service, priti purvakam, the Lord, out of His causeless mercy upon the devotee, gives direct instructions so that the devotee may make accurate progress on the path returning home back to Godhead. One should not, therefore, try to understand these 4 verses of Srimad-Bhagavatam by mental speculation, rather by direct perception of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One is able to know all about His abode, Vaikuntha, as was seen and experienced by Brahmaji. Such Vaikuntha realization is possible by any devotee of the Lord, situated in the transcendental position as a result of devotional service. In the Gopal Tapani Upanishad, Shruti, it is said, Gopaveshu me purushak purastad avir babuva. The Lord appeared before Brahma as a cowherd boy, that is, as the original personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, Govinda, who is later described by Brahmaji in his Brahma Samhita, Chintamani Prakarasat Masukalpa Vriksha Lakshavritesha Sudhabil Abhipalayantam Lakshmi Sahasra Shatasam Prabhasevyamanam Govindamari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Brahmaji desires to worship the original personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, who resides in the topmost Vaikuntha planet, known as Goloka Vrindavan, where he is in the habit of keeping Surabhi cows as a cowherd boy, and where he is served by hundreds and thousands of goddesses of fortune, the gopis, with love and respect. Therefore, Lord Sri Krishna is the original form of the Supreme Lord, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. This is also clear from the instruction Lord Krishna gives in verses 33 through 36 of this chapter. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is Lord Krishna, and not directly Narayana or the Purusha avatars, which are subsequent manifestations. Therefore, Srimad-Bhagavatam means consciousness of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna. And Srimad-Bhagavatam is the sound representation of the Lord, as much as the Bhagavad Gita is. Thus, the conclusion is that Srimad-Bhagavatam is the science of the Lord, in which the Lord and His abode are perfectly realized. Om Tat Sat, Hare Krishna. Thanks a lot. Hare Krishna. Okay, so we'll stop our reading there. And we did 36, 37. 2 verses of the Bhagavatam. Amazing. Simply amazing. Kalachandji, Radha Kalachandji, in Dallas. We just came from there. Kalachandji is the oldest deity outside of India. He's more than 500 years old. Yeah.
Before they came to Dallas.
He was in India, and I don't remember who. It was someone fairly close to Prabhupada, if not Prabhupada himself. I can't remember, I'm so sorry. But he was in an antique shop holding up a door.
Really?
Wow.
And now look at him. So powerful. So you can see the transcendental nature of pure devotional service, because I know the Pujari who dressed him that day, Mahahari. And now look, he's hardly holding up a door, he's holding up all of us. Okay, time for reflections from the sages present. Pretty overwhelming, those purports, those verses. What can you add or subtract or do anything to? They're so deep, it's hard just to remember them, what to speak of. Be able to say something about them.
One point that when Prabhupada was saying the real meaning of oneness, that we actually cooperate with each other
Yes. He was talking about how the body of the Lord, different parts of the body of the Lord represent the different, sections of human society, and that they all meant actually cooperate with one another to please the body of the Lord. And as soon as we stop that, then it falls apart. Then it becomes material. Wonderful realization or reflection.
I really like that. Ultimately, the oneness is cooperation.
I heard Gopi Puranadana Prabhu say something really wonderful about this. It wasn't exactly on, but it was talking about the oneness. And he said that the result of bhakti yoga is that one merges into the transcendental varieties of the spiritual world. Now that's a nice way of saying it. One merges into the transcendental variety of the spiritual world. What a difference, Just merging means you lose your individuality, the Lord loses his individuality. What do? Just sit there. Just be. And that's why they have all these sayings, Who is God? God is I am. I am. I am what I am. Prabhupada said, what am I? No, I am.
Is that when you got in that argument with that lady?
Yeah.
In Caracas?
Yeah. No, it's in the Bible. But Prabhupada said, he doesn't mean I am, he means I am the Lord. But they can't. Who knows who translated it, how it was. That's the point. The whole point was, unless we hear from a liberated soul, from an actual advanced devotee, and accept it ourselves and repeat it without changing it, with realization, having understood it and applied it, and performed devotional service continuously, regularly, for years and years and years and years, then we understand and we can answer these questions, even if we don't know very much. I remember when I was in London all those years doing the question and answer session, for 6 years, 7 years, 6.5 years? No, less 7, no. February of 87 to September of 94. Almost 7 years. And every day, for 3 to 12 hours a day, I stayed up in the library, and I just made myself available to whoever came in the door. And sometimes it was hours, sometimes it was 3 hours, sometimes it was 12 hours every day. And I met so many people with so many questions. But after a while, I got the sense, hey, there aren't that many objections, there aren't that many questions. They're all categorized in just a few simple, truths, And so I just practiced out of the repertoire of answers that Prabhupada gave us. When I found one that worked for that, but I would just repeat it every time it was answered, that question. And it was magic. I think we made 80 devotees during those years. Western devotees. Yeah. Huh?
It was actually more because that 80 was only when you did that centennial goal.
No, it was only around 80 because I only made 52 during that centennial goal.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I didn't go past, I was supposed to go past 95 and I left at 94. Or 96, it was supposed to go to 96. I left at 94.
So the 80 includes, Srihari, Paramakuru,
Yeah,
all those people.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that crop. I mean, it's so nectarian to do this. It's so nectarian. I just am trying to convince everyone else to do this.
The thing that came out for me from hearing was how really it's quite a simple process.
Yes, exactly.
Actually. And the mercy of Krishna being able to allow everyone to practice Krishna consciousness creates that simplicity.
Good point. Or just the opposite, or both.
Or both, depending on how you view it.
Yeah, depending how you look at it.
Yeah. Sorry. So that's the thing that stood out for me more than anything else was, okay.
It's available to everyone, anyone and everyone. And then he was saying what? There was fish and the worms, and
Yeah.
it's available to anyone.
Yeah.
Therefore, Haridas Thakur said, chant your rounds very loudly. And even the ants in the room and the spiders and the whatever else is in the room, they all make spiritual advancement.
Ghosts.
Huh?
Ghosts.
Yes, the ghosts. But they tend to run away though. Prabhupada drove out a ghost in one of the buildings on John Lennon's estate. When the devotees went to stay there, one of the garden lady, the gardener or somebody, taking care of part of. She came to the devotee. She saw what was going on. She said, "We've got a ghost over here. What to do?" Then Prabhupada told them to go and chant Hare Krishna, and the ghost went away. Everybody was very uncomfortable. When ghosts come around, they make everybody uncomfortable. Yeah. What else? Come on.
There's a paragraph that kind of...
A what?
There's a paragraph in the purport that kind of reflects what Paul was saying and also reflects the conversations we were having earlier. Prabhupada says, therefore there is no need to seek properly qualified candidates for discharging devotional service to the Lord.
We put this in our family business. This paragraph is in our family business. Go ahead.
Let them be either well behaved or ill trained. Let them be either learned or fools. Let them be either grossly attached or under an ounce order of life. Let them be liberated souls or desirous of salvation. Let them be inexpert in the discharge of devotional service or expert in the same. All of them can be elevated to the supreme position by discharging devotional service under proper guidance.
Hare Krishna. That pretty much says it all. Mercy of Lord Chaitanya. Mercy of Lord Nityananda. Mercy to Srimati Radharani. No excuses. Yes.
I have a question on that.
Question, go ahead.
It's from Rati Manjari.
Rati Manjari has a question? That's a surprise. Hey Rati.
She says, Dear Guru Maharaj, thank you for this wonderful reading, truly extraordinary. Do you still have these categorized answers to the most asked questions, and would you be willing to share them with us in some way?
No. Not that I'm not willing to share them. I share them every night. I share them every night. When somebody asks me a question, especially in Houston, because there were so many new devotees coming, they were asking so many questions. I was doing exactly the same thing. I was using the same answers. So you tune in every night, Rati, so you probably got all the answers already in your notebook. And you know, they're in Prabhupada's purports. Every single answer. I mean, I don't say anything that's not in Prabhupada's purport, except maybe a joke every once in a while, you know, just to lighten up the atmosphere, you know. But besides that, it's all right from Prabhupada's purports. What more do you need?
The essence of the Srimad-Bhagavatam is in the hearing of it.
Yes. The hearing, when you're actually hearing with rapt attention, you are remembering, you're meditating, you're serving, you're doing everything actually. Worshipping, yes. Giving yourself. You're being friendly, friend. When you love someone, you listen attentively. You like to hear from them. Yes, yes. Within this process of hearing, it includes everything. So even if you don't have a memory, I don't have a very good memory. I have godbrothers who have the whole Bhagavad Gita memorized, and most of the verses that are used in the purport, Prabhupada's favorite ones, they have memorized. Many of my godbrothers have done that. I don't have that kind of memory, but I have a taste for doing this and for reading it again and again and again. And it's the same. And it's the same what you were saying from that. If we're qualified, super qualified, or less qualified, or in between, it doesn't make any difference. If you just hear with faith and devotion and love, without argument, you get the realization. It comes directly from that process. That's Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. In a later verse, towards the end of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says that he pays his obeisances to his readers, anyone who's hearing Srimad-Bhagavatam. I haven't written down in my offering, actually. If I can get it up here real quick without searching around too much. Opened up too many things. I thought I had it in my thing here. Yeah, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, yes, I now worship the lotus feet of all my readers, for by the mercy of their lotus feet there is all good fortune. If one hears the pastimes of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as described in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, I wash his lotus feet and drink the water. I decorate my head with the dust of the lotus feet of my audience. Now you have all drunk this nectar, and therefore my labor is successful. Yes, Bhakta Matt.
We have another Facebook reflection.
Please, reflect away.
This comes from Russia. Yadurmadas.
Yaduratma. Yadutama is the right way to say it. Yeah, Yadutama.
He says, Hare Krishna, I appreciated the sentence, the bona fide spiritual master in that bona fide chain of disciplic succession never claims to be the Lord himself. Although such a spiritual master is greater than the Lord in the sense that he can deliver the Lord by his personally realized experience. He appreciated that.
Well, we appreciate that you appreciated that. Therefore, the readers of your books also become deserving of worship. And the active principle that underlies hearing with proper consciousness, with complete faith, without argument, in rapt attention, is the blessing of an eternal associate of the Lord. Srila Prabhupada, you are the eternal associate of the Lord, who made it possible for the world to taste real relief from the sufferings of the degraded age of Kali, and to feel true happiness by reading your books, especially out loud. That's my offering, for my offering this year.
There's also, I find it was really sweet when Prabhupada lists up different ways how you can serve Krishna, and one of them was to adore him.
Yes.
To think like how beautiful.
Yes, just to adore him. Yes.
It's so nice.
Yes. The goal is to fall head over heels in love with Krishna. That's the goal. We have that saying in English, head over heels. You fall head over heels, you become dizzy because your head's down there and your feet are up there and you don't know what's down. And day and night, all you can think about is your beloved. That's the goal. And these verses here in the second, they just prepare your heart, prepare your mind and your intelligence to grasp just a drop of how great Krishna actually is and what he's actually doing and how he's pervading your life and everyone else's life,
And yet, he's also can be very, very human-like, which is
Yes. And not only human-like, he can become in the palm of your hand. He'll become your plaything. The gopis, he's the plaything of the gopis. The elder gopis, they used to, make him dance. You dance and I'll give you a sweetmeat. He starts dancing. Lord Chaitanya, when he came, he used to do that. The ladies would come and they'd give him a sweetmeat if they'd dance, and he would just dance like a puppet in their hands, And they would be in ecstasy, and the Lord would be in ecstasy, seeing them in ecstasy. That's what devotional life is about. It's about love. It's about genuine affection, pure affection. All the things that we're looking for in this world, it's just not there. It's like we're looking for the keys to the car and under the wrong tree because there's no street lamp over it, Something else?
We have another reflection.
Please.
This is from Radhi Manjari.
Radhi Manjari, you're a reflection machine.
Radhi says, as far as reflections are concerned, this occurred to me. As far as fruitive work is concerned, it is limited to an enjoyable body. I never thought of this truth, and it impresses me once again that the power of devotional service goes so far beyond the material body.
Yes. 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 It can't be performed with devotion, with material senses. It can only be performed with spiritual senses. That's why absorption, as was mentioned a few times in these purports, is extremely important. It doesn't make any difference in the paragraph that he read out. It doesn't make any difference if you're qualified or not, if you're great or poor or this or that, whatever you are. If you become absorbed, that Brahman, I think it hinted at this. There were two Brahmanas in the South India that could have been referred to here, but I think it was the one who was illiterate. He was sitting in the courtyard of his village, and he was reading the Bhagavad Gita, and he couldn't pronounce the words because he was illiterate, so it sounded like gibberish or something. And the villagers were laughing at him because, oh, Brahmana, you reading the Bhagavad Gita, what does it mean, just to make fun of him. But Lord Chaitanya came and saw him, and then came up to him, and the Brahmana could understand, oh, this person's serious, he's not going to tease me. And he asked him, what are you doing? He says, I'm reading the Bhagavad Gita, but unfortunately I'm illiterate, so I can't read it. But he said, then why are you doing it? He said, my spiritual master asked me to do this 18 chapters every day, so I do every day loyally. Lord Chaitanya said, but I said, but sometimes you cry, why is that? He said, yes, I see there's pictures in the front of the book, and it shows Krishna driving the chariot of Arjuna, and I think about how wonderful the Lord is to serve his devotee, and I cry. And Lord Chaitanya picked him up, embraced him, and he said, you are the real knower of the Gita. But our acharyas comment that Brahmana, actually, he was illiterate, true, but he used to attend lectures, and he would hear. Here again, here we are again, right back to the point, hearing. By hearing, you can get everything, even if you're illiterate, even if you're not qualified. If you hear it with love and faith, devotion, and without argument, then you get it. That's the way to get it. There's no other way to get it, actually. Just like when you're a little kid, and you say, Daddy, what's this? And he says, it's a glass of water. Oh. And one of his friends comes and he says, what's this? He says, it's a glass of water. The kid doesn't know what he's talking about, but what he says is exactly true. Because he said something that was true and repeated it, but simply just repeated it. I mean, that doesn't mean that we don't, learn the philosophy and learn to, defeat the rascals who are trying to, change everything and destroy, devotional philosophy and everything. We have to know what we're doing to combat those things. But anybody can hear and just accept and get the full thing. It's so wonderful. Like that when we heard that prayer I read for the Bhagavatam, it was, I can't remember now. Tired, I can't remember. Anyway, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you so much for your association, allowing me to read the Bhagavatam in front of you. Thanks, Prabhupada. Thanks to the Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, all our previous acharyas. Oh my God, brothers, all the Vaishnavas in the world, thank you. Hare Krishna. Srimad-Bhagavatam ki jai. Samaveda Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Lord Brahma ki jai. Jai Shri Krishna ki jai. Gaur Premanandi. Hari Hari Bol. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.